So you know this because like we talk on the regular. Just came back from a vacation, but our viewers probably don't notice it because like we still produced content on the regular. But yeah, I just got back from vacation because I was feeling a little burnt out, and as you know, like there's a lot of things going on.
Yep.
But took a couple of days off, came back, and I'm still back to where I'm at, and I just can't figure out what the heck I'm doing wrong.
You know what? Okay, so that's perfect. So today we're going to dive into why is it that you think you can take a vacation and deal with overwhelm and why you actually can't do that. So that's what we're going to dive in for today's topic.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of BizMeds. We are your hosts and neuroscience business coaches. My name is Saad.
And my name is Darius, and we're here to give you the minimum effective dose for your business. For if you're just joining us, Saad and I scale businesses. We scaled a business from 60 to 90 million in under 18 months. And that's not to impress you, but impress upon you that you can scale your business. And it's not about working harder or working longer hours. It's about scaling your biology and learning what levers you can pull to really maximize your results. So that's why we're here, and that's going to dive into today. So you brought up a really interesting topic. So funny enough is I also was on vacation, so we overlapped at the same time, which is, you know, why we're looking so fresh and
Exactly. Well,
and
fresh
and not so refreshed. And yeah, so I think today's a really good one because I think that's how most people actually approach when they're feeling overwhelmed and burned out is I need to go take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And today is really around why that actually doesn't solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you actually solve the problem? So yeah, let's. So interesting enough. So you know, you were gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and in that, I bet you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna take this time off, and I'm gonna like just recharge, and everything's gonna be good when I got back." And so what happened?
Yeah. So honestly, like I feel like what I did wrong was I had a lot of things, a lot of cognitive load built up, and you know, a lot of deliverables, if you will, that I needed to get done. But I planned a vacation in a way that I could take the 2 weeks, come back, start doing the deliverables, and still meet my deadlines and everything I needed to get done. The problem with that was I didn't resolve anything internally. I just put a pause on all the shit, excluded myself from it, came back, and right back into shit.
Right. Okay. So you brought up a lot of really good things there, and we can unpack those. So first and foremost, you said something really interesting that I think most viewers and listeners will be able to relate to or hopefully they have from listening time and time again, is the biggest reason was cognitive load, right? Mm-hmm. The whole reason that you're trying to take a time off is because when you're feeling burned out, it's because you have high cognitive load. That just means that like a computer, you just have so many things chugging along that your brain never gets you don't feel like you ever get to mentally take a rest.
Yeah.
And so that just builds up, and it's usually born out of you feel like I have things to do. And it could be a combination of guilt and all sorts of other feelings in that obligation, responsibility, all these things that are tied up. Like I gotta get these things done, or they're feeling pressing. And usually what we do is we feel like taking that little pause, a nice vacation, somehow that's going to solve it.
Just resolve everything.
Right? And I just need some downtime so my brain can shut down for a while. And what you do is you think about when you have a computer that's kind of like, you know, all you're doing is hitting pause. That's all you're doing, right? You're not actually solving any of the things that the buildup of all that energy that's being contained in the system. You're not releasing it. It's just all there, it's just paused. Yeah. And so you go on your vacation, and while you're on vacation, I bet you felt really relaxed.
Oh yeah. Mentally, I felt like I had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And obviously, like with certain types of vacations, you have you go on incognito mode and you open up 10 different browsers. that when you just close the entire window, you're back to like everything else that you had left open.
Yeah,
that you wanted to
exactly. On. You're just like, I just opened up another browser, and it was on this other screen. And I just filled it up over there. And then, I turned that one off and boop, here it is. And that's really the biggest reason why vacations don't solve, and time away, downtime doesn't solve overwhelm, is because you're not dealing with the underlying cause. And that the biggest culprit is cognitive load, right? Which is why we spend so much time on the neuroscience. And why do we talk about cognitive load? Because it is the biggest thief of focus and flow.
Right.
If you have too much cognitive load, you'll never be focused. You'll always be torn. You're trying to do a million things, and then I think you just experience that kind of firsthand.
Yeah.
So from a standpoint of why vacations don't ever solve overwhelm, that's it. I mean, that is the real reason. It's just like hitting pause button and not dealing with it. So how do we make it so that our vacations can be downtime and things like that? Well, and I think you brought up another one where it's like you just said, hey, like I made it so I could take the 2 weeks and then start it when I got back.
Yeah.
Right. And so the interesting thing about cognitive load is you don't just solve it once. It's a constant process you have to run to reduce cognitive load. So some of those things are, really prioritizing what it is that you really need to work on. And that's where it comes down to, like, when you're thinking about some of these, like, some of them will be concrete projects that you have to kind of finish, with clients and things like that, and they have to be delivered. And that's fine. It's now how do you prioritize your time, but how do you make decisions around all the other things that allow you to not have to think about them and not have to worry about them. So that's when we talk a lot about make decisions once to solve a lot of problems. So whether it's, you decide all of your meals, or you get a meal delivery service for a week, and that takes care of that whole series of decision making and thought process around that. It's already solved. You don't have to think about that anymore, right? So that's one layer of energy we're reclaiming, and that's really what it's about. It's reclaiming energy first and foremost. It's that we shut off processes to do that. Then there's another series of things, right? So it's like, okay, so when it comes to the work, it's how are you scheduling your time and prioritize your time around that? Can you build some focus blocks, flow blocks in there to work solely on those, where you can turn off all your distractions, things like that? Can you make decisions that get rid of other meetings that are not helpful and useful? Boom, there's another one, right? It's always the real key behind all of this is stripping back all of those things that are stealing your focus, they're stealing your mental energy and all that's preventing you from being effective.
Yeah. No, you said that really well. I am becoming. This isn't obviously my first go around with this. It's just it's been a very hectic kind of go around.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot of times when you have so much on your plate, you sometimes forget what the way out is.
Yes.
Just because you're in it and you're constantly just like, you feel like you know where the way out is when it gets too crazy. But you ever been so immersed in something, even if you subconsciously know where the way out is, you just won't reach for it just because you don't want to quit with what you're doing.
Well, I would say to that is that's a very common thing, right? Yeah. It's logically, but we don't, it's counterintuitive to stop for a minute, because we feel that if we stop, then suddenly everything's gonna fall apart. We're like, this is valuable time. I need to be doing these things. And it's so counterintuitive. It's why it is the same reason why a lot of people, when they get into flow, they don't approach recovery correctly, because they feel like they're going to lose out on flow or anything else. But recovery is the key to getting more.
Yeah. And
so is being more effective is taking a slow down. And the reason for that is, we talked about it before, is your brain, when you're in a heightened emotional state, when emotion goes up, intelligence goes down. And like we talked before, is with your brain, you look at your brain and you have your prefrontal cortex up front, but you have your amygdala down here. Anytime you're in an elevated emotional state, you're going to be operating more from that basal, from the fight, flight, or freeze mode. So you're going to be way more emotionally responsive. You're not going to be logically. So although you might know what you need to do when you're in that emotional state, your intelligence goes down. And so you then get caught in the, I got to do this. And you try to push harder, not really like that. That's when you have to train yourself to just stop and breathe. And it's so funny when I catch myself talking to people and I say, just breathe. And they think I'm being facetious or that. And I'm saying, no, I am saying stop, inhale for 4 seconds, hold it, exhale for 6 to 8 seconds and re-regulate. Like down-regulate your system. So that the blood can then go back to your prefrontal cortex and you can start making better logical decisions again. So you're not as emotional. But I think people have been conditioned, or they hear, oh, just breathe. And they think it's some really weird comment or just an offhand comment, where it's no, the reason why we stop, the reason why we breathe like that is because we have to re-regulate the nervous system. We have to get the blood flowing back to the prefrontal cortex, back to the logic part of our brain. So we can say, okay, now I have to pull the tools out of my tool belt to implement those to deal with the cognitive load. And I have to, and this is what, again, like how we tie things together. This is the exact reason why the scaling playbook works, is you have to start with reclaiming resources first. So you have to strip away the non-essentials. You have to gain your mental resources back, your emotional resources back, so you can deal with the constraint, which is your ability to prioritize and get rid of the stuff that continues to eat away at your cognitive load.
Before you quickly move on, I had a quick story I want to share. Is like I had one of my team members that was overwhelmed with so much on their plate, and they were just starting to have the cognitive load build up to a point where you could tell that even hey, how are you doing would make them start crying and just break down absolutely. So I remember this because we did this activity too way long before when I was going through a similar situation, and I remember that. But a lot of times I found that when you try to get somebody to just take a breather and tell them like, hey, just breathe, it can, like you said, come off facetious. To the recipient. So this person, we're out at like lunchtime. I'm just like, let's just go for a quick walk. Like, let's just chat, and you tell me what your problem is. And the conversation, you could tell, was like, well, and then this, and then I just. So I'm like, hey, do you smell that? Like what? I'm like, take a deep breath in. Like, smell. Like I'm smelling something really weird. Like I can't put my brain and mind to it. And this person is like, just I can't get anything. I was like, I'm smelling something. I don't know what, like, can you? And then so they did it a few times and they started calming down. And then 10 minutes later after, they're like, Sad, I see what you were doing. And I was like, it worked though, didn't it?
Absolutely.
So
anything like that, right? So that works. That is an amazing thing to use for someone to help someone get through kind of that mental block around it. And it's a great way to help them without realizing they're being helped.
They're being helped, yeah.
Right? There's another one that I do is I actually just sit there and I breathe them. It's like a deep breath. And I breathe alongside them.
Yeah.
So, and it's to just match me. That's it. And that's all you have to focus on. Just breathe like me. Okay. And then, exhale long. And help them re-regulate. That's the biggest thing you can start when people get emotional. And that's, and the one, again, that's one of the biggest, like one of the most important tools you have in your own tool belt to be able to pull out and say, oh, I need to implement this. Many of the clients are always amazed. And when we do coaching sessions, we always start off with re-regulating a nervous system, right? So we do box breathing and breathing exercises, right? Because we want to re-regulate immediately. But by doing that, it just reinforces that skill so that when you start to think about it, then it becomes like second nature. But if you never do it, you tell someone, you have to start conditioning them to do that. And so, and all of that to start to regain mental and emotional resources immediately. So we can redeploy that to the most effective thing, which is dealing with cognitive load. And then you can go on, and when you have all that, you can figure out how to actually deal with cognitive load and go on take some downtime.
Mm-hmm.
And now that downtime is actually really useful and helpful because it allows you to then think about the bigger things, use your creativity, think about what kind of leverage you're going to create to grow and scale the business and other things you're going to do.
Yeah.
And when you come back into it, it's just, okay, cool. I'm right back into it. Not I just had a pause and boom, I'm at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I just turned my computer on and it went right to 100%.
Yeah,
and I'm just chugging along and it's ready to burn up.
Yeah, exactly. Why is my computer still lagging? Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think that is a really, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No. That was kind of it. Like, I mean, I understand through obviously starting to unwind and like unpack like why I'm still feeling burnt out even after it taken 2 weeks apart. It helped me understand, like, obviously, and again, like, shameless plug here, the masterclass that we have for Burnout to Breakthrough was one of the things I had to kind of play to remind myself back on like what I needed to do. And like, to your point, a lot of times when you're going through it, you just feel like you just have to go through it because your energy is up, your mind is like kind of focused on the problem, and a lot of times you just have to take the step back to recharge to be able to come back and do it.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a reason why we say you can't hustle your way through it. You can't like bulldoze your way through that. Mm-hmm. You'll just keep eating away. And there's a much better and easier or a much better way through it. It doesn't make it easier, but it'll condense the time frame it takes to get through that. Yeah. And everything is just rooted in that neuroscience of it or what's happening. And that's what we want to do and that's why that masterclass is so important, right? Because you have to always deal with cognitive load. You have to deal with it. Yeah. You can't push it away because as you learned or just maybe just remembered, that it's like hitting, you can't just if you just hit the pause, it's going to just come back same force. Yeah. And so it'll be like you didn't even have a break. Because you'll just be like, okay, cool. I guess I had that 2 weeks where I didn't feel this, but now I feel this again. Mm-hmm. It's no different. Yeah. Right. So we're just prolonging the agony and we have to continually go back and revisit this to make sure that we're dealing with it. Yeah. So with that, everyone, thank you for joining us from this episode of BizMeds. We're your neuroscience business coaches. My name is Darius.
And I'm San.
And we are here to give you the minimum effective dose to scale your business. If you've liked anything, you learned anything, hit like, subscribe, share it with someone. Don't be a hoe, share the show.
Or if you're about to go on a vacation and don't want to come back to being burnt out.
Yeah, click the link below, sign up for the masterclass, Burnout to Breakthrough, and learn how to actually deal with cognitive load so that you can, like us, take some time away and come back stronger than ever. Again, to our moms, Saad's mom, love you, thank you. Mom, thank you, love you. Everyone who's been with us since the beginning, just joining, thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. We appreciate your feedback always. And with that, remember, you're just one day away from the life you've always dreamed about. We will see you in the next episode.